Yo guys, what's going on? Welcome back. Anders here with another video. In today's video, we're going to be going over all of the best weapon setups for all the new Season 2 weapons. I did a video specifically on the Battlefield 3 weapons, but I actually unlocked every Season 2 weapon now, so we're going to do a full video on all of them. And as always, if you enjoy the content, you watch the channel, hit the subscribe button or check if you're subscribed, as 75% of people that watch my videos are not subscribed. And we got some really exciting videos coming out, including a 30,000 subscriber montage, the eventual Battlefield 2042 review, which I'm still working on, and some other cool things relating to other video games that are coming out. So starting off, we're going to start off from, I guess, left to right here. The PF51, in my opinion, the new best secondary weapon in the entire game. It's basically just a submachine gun. I will admit, though, it does have some pretty substantial recoil, and there are a few ways you can run this. So, in my opinion, the one way you can run it is you can try to maximize the weapon's effectiveness at, like, all ranges, but this requires some pretty beefy recoil control, in my opinion, because this thing does have some pretty wild recoil. I use the tactical compensator, and I would use the laser sight, which I don't have unlocked yet. So just ignore the flashlight. I'm going to use tactical compensator, laser sight, so that's one setup. And the other setup you're going to want to try to use, in my opinion, is if you find yourself struggling with recoil control, I would go with the either the Warhawk compensator or the Arcom tactical muzzle brake. You can choose between either one of these, but just keep in mind, this gun has pretty substantial vertical recoil without any sort of, increase of it. So if you can't handle the vertical recoil, maybe just go with the general recoil control of the Warhawk compensator over the Arcom. Don't go with the Champion muzzle brake. You do not want horizontal recoil on really any video game ever. And suppressor, in my opinion, it's not worth it, because if you've watched any videos going over Casper, you know you're spotted pretty much 24/7, and I don't find that it really helps in this game. So tactical compensator, laser sight, or one of these two compensators or laser sight. And for ammo, it only has 2 magazines, so just make sure you equip both, and sight is obviously personal preference, and that applies to every weapon that we'll be going over. So the AM40, in my opinion, one of the worst weapons in the game. It should have been a submachine gun. This whole thing where they try to make, like, oh dude, it's a weapon that delivers an assault rifle in an SMG-like package. Dude, it's like, it's a submachine gun. You can just say it's an SMG. But I try to maximize this weapon's accuracy at range, because it really has no business having as much recoil as it does. And it being pretty inaccurate at range, I just try to boost that, because I find the hipfire to be fine. I find that it just has too much recoil for what it actually is, and it's just not a competitive weapon. So, in my opinion, you're going to want to use tactical compensator, BCG light grip, or laser sight. I mean, this is just personal preference. I prefer maxing out its ADS capability, because I find its hipfire is already pretty decent, even with the downgrade to hipfire with the BCG. And of course, fill out your ammo types here. I run high power extended, standard issue drum mag, and high power. Some people like the standard issue drum mag more than the high power extended. Honestly, it doesn't matter. This gun's not that good anyway, so you can just pick either one here. It should be fine. I will say, if you're having trouble with this gun's recoil, the standard issue will reduce the weapon's recoil. That's the AM40. For the Battlefield 3 weapons, so I'll just go over the M16 and the M60 here. So the BF3 weapons, as I went over in a previous video, they're a little bit different than the 2042 weapons, because they literally work differently, because they're from Portal. First of all, they have visual recoil, way more visual recoil than the 2042 weapons. They get more starting ammo, but the M16 will overall just have less versatility with ammo types, because it's a Battlefield 3 weapon. And yeah, it's just pretty rough. So the M16, as I went over again in a previous video, which I'll link, I guess, this gun has pretty substantial recoil. The, Turbo Gamer 9 trillion setup for this gun is obviously heavy barrel laser sight. Absolutely keep the LVG on hand. I switch to this thing all the time. This is something you should always have in this weapon's arsenal, even if you don't use it, because the LVG is probably the most overpowered grenade launcher in the entire game right now. It goes through Irish APS. It kills people across the map. It's insane. So always have the LVG mounted on your number 3 button here, or your underbarrel attachment. So heavy barrel laser sight is one setup, and you can also run flash suppressor foregrip if you find the recoil is pretty difficult for you to control. But generally, those two setups are fine. Again, moving on to the M60 here. Just use flash suppressor over default muzzle because there's no reason to. There's no reason not to use it. And use laser sight. I don't find the M60 to have that much recoil, but if you find yourself struggling, use foregrip instead of laser sight. And obviously use extended mag because there's no downside to using the extended mag over the default mag. And I will say for some PC players and maybe console players, I haven't noticed this exactly, but the red dot sight on this weapon, for whatever reason, is super, super blurry. Let me know in the comment section if you experience that. But so I use the Cobra sight to pretty much avoid that. But again, sight's personal preference. Red dot might be blurry in the M60. Now, moving on to, in my opinion, the star of the show when it comes to the Season 2 weapons. I just unlocked this today, the AVANCYS. The AVANCYS, in my opinion, is probably the most overpowered gun in the game right now. Or it's either the most overpowered or tied for, like, first place with the BSVM. This gun is insane. This gun has no recoil, 750 RPM, 200 bullets, and crazy hipfire. It's just insane. The versatility of this weapon is unmatched. I would basically compare it to a 200 round M5. That's what it is. It feels like an assault rifle. It handles like an assault rifle. It's overall just devastating to deal with. So the way I run this weapon is I find this weapon to be so accurate and have so little recoil that, in my opinion, it doesn't need BCG light grip, even though this is the first one of the first things you unlock for it. Excuse me, no, it's not. 210 kills, but it doesn't need BCG light grip. So I run this gun with tactical compensator, just again, because in my opinion, there's no better attachment available here. So I just use tactical compensator, and I don't find the increased recoil matters whatsoever. And laser sight just to further increase the hipfire. So you have a gun that's crazy accurate in ADS, crazy accurate in hipfire, and you have 200 rounds in a magazine. I mean, what more do you want in a weapon? It does everything. It has a great TTK, can test most weapons at any distance, and it has some pretty cool skins. You know, the tier 1 skin looks pretty badass for it. So yeah, that is how I would set up all the Season 2 weapons. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'll be streaming on Twitch every single day as usual. Link is in the description. Drop my channel a follow. I will be playing Gundam Evolution and Shatterline. I know people have been asking me to play Shatterline, so I'm going to play that as of right now. So maybe click on the link. I'll be live with it right now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.